Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a special Monday episode. Cage has already dropped off the video, so I'll put the episode on my back and carry it all the way through to a finals, only to go 3-7. Just kidding. We want to welcome you guys back to another episode of Luka's Tigers and Bronzo My. This is going to be fun because we're recording. Monday morning, 11:45 where I am. So these are fun. I love Monday morning episodes for so many reasons. And I have 3 topics prepared that I think are super relevant to discuss this week. Gary V NFT.
Oh.
The Dodgers versus the Padres. Unbelievable game. Unbelievable series. And then NBA, what I'm calling NBA Bubble 2.0, right? We're at that point in the NBA season where, like I said, it's the same time as when the bubble reopened in Orlando in August. So those are the 3 topics I want to discuss today. We're going to bring you 2 plays as well as we always do. Hopefully we'll make you some money. Cage, feel free to choose any of those topics. Feel free to propose your own. Feel free to do, a shout out to anyone at LukaNation. You had a busy weekend meeting a ton of our fans. So take it whatever direction you want. Those are the 3 topics that I would love for us to cover today at some point.
I like took the Gary V NFT. Well, let's hear your opinion on it. Let's hear your lemming opinion. What do you think as a Gary V disciple? What do you think?
I don't know what a lemming is. I love lemons, and you were the lemon of the week. Are you hoping that someone makes you a lemon of? Are you hoping someone makes you a lemon of the week again?
So
what is a lemming?
A lemming is an animal.
Okay.
They're known for following, even following off a cliff. Lemming, you never heard like the lemmings jumping off a cliff, following one another. No.
I would assume that Darwin would suggest that they would go extinct if they consistently make poor decisions like that. And I could only wish that for people that are in this world that are blind followers, that they should jump off a cliff. Now,
well, listen,
I don't think I'm a lemming. I think I'm a friend and I, we were doing strengths finder test. And one of the questions was, are you a lifelong learner? And for me, that was an easy yes, 100%, 95%. I didn't give 100%. So I think Gary's a very smart man, and I've learned a lot about marketing from him. So I don't think of myself as a lemming. I think of myself as, I took kind of marketing, a master's in marketing, and instead of paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to a university professor, I've learned marketing from someone who actually does it for free using his content. So if we're going to talk about the Gary V NFT, I'm going to use the metaphor or kind of what we've discussed time and time again when it comes to Top Shot. Okay? I'm going to use Top Shot as an example.
Mm-hmm.
New concept, innovative, but we don't know what's going to happen with Top Shot, right?
True.
Some days we're, very optimistic. Other days we're pessimistic, but we come back to one really specific reason as to why we believe in Top Shot. What is that reason, Cage?
The team behind it.
The team behind it. So I would be foolish not to acknowledge that Gary does come off as a bit of a snake oil salesman, as some people in our group have suggested when doing these NFTs. I agree. But I don't think it's fair to judge somebody's sales style. Everyone has completely different sales styles, and that's okay. What I will judge is Gary's track record. Gary's behavior. And time again, in my opinion, out of all of the influencers out there, Gary has over-delivered for his community. He puts out
tell me about that. Tell me about that content. So what has he put out there that has made money for people? What does he put out there for you to quote unquote invest in? Because that's, you know about crypto, Ethereum, right? What's an Ethereum work nowadays? What's it cost to have one Ethereum?
2,400 for $2,400 US is the current transaction rate for
$2,400. So what he's asking is bare minimum you should have $2,400 to invest in his now Mad Libs. We could leave a blank there, right? What has what has he given people previously for them to invest $2,400 and make money on $2,400?
Well, let's start where this all started with trash talk. I don't know if you guys remember about 2.5 years ago, Gary would go garage sailing and show people how to make money, buy something at a garage sale for $1, flip it for 33.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's so funny, like people don't think of that as money, but it adds up. It adds up. So the way this all started was with garage selling and making people money, or making people realize that they can make a few extra $100 a week or a month doing garage selling.
I love that.
That eventually evolved into sports cards. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So go ahead. So sports cards, keep going, please. I apologize. I should let you go.
And if you were listening in, let's see, 2019, about 2 years ago today, was when he was talking a lot more about trash talk, and he was beginning to talk about sports cards and getting into sports cards. So a lot of people that follow Gary, they actually, Sasha Talmanon's probably a fantastic example. He's been in this forever, but him and his crew, and I don't want to speak for them, so I don't know if this is a fact, but those younger adults, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24-year-old guys that were following Gary from 2019, surely they've made money on sports cards. And
okay.
I think it's unfair to say that Gary was a part of that. He was. He brought a lot of attention to the hobby. He brought a lot of people into the hobby.
So let me ask my question, which is this, right? So in both of those examples, Gary did not have a garage sale of his own. Okay? Gary did not invite people to his house to sell them his trinkets so that they can then flip his trinkets for profit. In sports cards, Gary did not go out and create a Panini or Topps or Leaf competitor and say, hey, I'm going to sell you my Gary V card and you should be able to flip it. So the question remains, what has Gary created that is his own cash grab? Not a flipping, not a technique, not a, hey, I found something that is a bargain and I think there is an arbitrage play, which you will get no argument from me, right? There are so many times that I watch a video and I'm like, nah, there's no way it can go up, and it did. He's very good at identifying other items, someone else's items, that there's an arbitrage opportunity for, that is undervalued for whatever the story is. But he's never gone and made that a cash grab for himself. He's never gone out. And the times that I think he has in business, like you sold empathy wines, were people buying empathy wines to flip empathy wines? I don't think so.
No, but some people, there was two products. There was the Topps release. I don't know if you remember, Topps did a Gary Vee special where they put, so I don't know if you guys remember. I don't know what the release was called, but I think Gary picked like 9 or 10 entrepreneurs from baseball who he thinks, they're great baseball players and they're great entrepreneurs. And within those Topps packs, he also included like VIP tickets, like you and 2 friends get to have dinner with me. You come to VaynerMedia and shout out Team Gary Vee. You're able to come to one of my keynotes. He added in those kind of what he calls access. And the second thing he did was the case with shoes, which, believe it or not, people did flip those for double on eBay. Obviously, shoes are a commodity, and eventually they come back to like equilibrium. But short term, some people did make money flipping shoes, and he also signed some shoes, I believe. So those were actually sold at a premium. So those are a few ways he's making.
Who's he partnering with on the NFT?
I can't answer. I don't know.
I don't know if he's partnering with anybody, right? So it was Topps and Case was.
I will say, I think of myself as kind of a little bit of a researcher, I'm a Spinatron, maybe Spinatron like 0.001 version of who he is, because he's unbelievable. But Gary and the team and Tyler, they spend a lot of time in LA in the prequel to all of this. So I don't know if that means anything, but knowing that team, knowing Gary, I think they did their due diligence. I'll have confidence in that. I think they've had the right conversations. They know Beeple as well. He's had Beeple on his show. So I think he's done his research. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that.
So right now, tell me what you know about what he's planning to sell people for at least $2,400.
Nothing. And that does rub me the wrong way a little bit, because I do wish there was a bit more transparency into the actual product and what it looks like.
Hard to get excited about a coffee pitcher and a battery pitcher. It's hard to get excited $2,400 worth.
Well, the coffee pitcher is obvious. The NFT is going to have utility where you get to have coffee with Gary.
I don't know if that's what the point is.
I know it's a guess. That's an assumption. That's a guess.
So that's the thing. We shouldn't be guessing when someone's asking you to pay $2,400 to buy into something. You shouldn't be guessing. I read those things as that Gary has been saying the same stuff all along, that he will work for the next 45 years of his life to make sure that whoever gets into this is going to make money on it, because he's a tireless worker. He will work. He'll bleed. He'll keep working. He won't stop. So coffee, he's caffeinated. He's got the energy. He's going to keep going. Have the energy keep going. Batteries.
He doesn't drink coffee.
But the point is, what people see with caffeine and batteries is energy.
That's funny. I didn't take it like that at all.
Like the Energizer Bunny, like keep going, and coffee. Like people are caffeinated. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm gonna work. I'm not gonna run out of energy. This thing is not gonna run out of steam. It's always gonna be, it's.
But if an NFT is essentially a stock that you're buying into a person versus a company, we could think of this as like an IPO of Gary V and Gary V's brand. That's how I see an NFT.
Yep.
I want a company and a founder that tells me that inspires confidence in me as an investor.
Right. Tells you what? Tells you what you're getting.
No, it doesn't tell me what I'm getting, but it tells me the effort that will come with it, and that this is someone who's passionate about it. And there is this concept, and sure, people lie all the time, but it's just cognitive dissonance. I think it's what it's called, is the term that people, what they say and what they do is going to eventually be as aligned as possible. I think when someone comes out and makes a statement like that, I will bleed for 45 years, that inspires me as an investor to say, okay, I believe in this guy. Nothing else, he's going to put in the work and make this as good of an investment as it can be. I'm not saying to go and invest. I'm not saying that to our audience at all. I'm saying how I'm thinking about it, even though he hasn't come out and explicitly said what it is the NFT or the investment is.
Doesn't it scare you that basically anybody with any type of a following has tokenized it?
Insert Cagecoin here.
Oh, exactly. But I mean, I haven't made $1 off Cagecoin. You can't actually get that out. That's just kind of like a joke, But people are going to be making money off this. I mean, you can't buy a Cagecoin on OpenSeas or on a marketplace where I can actually take $1 out of it. That's just, hey, anybody wants it. I've actually lost money on Cagecoin. Not only did somebody set it up for me, but I've given things away on that. That's just a way to interact with people. I haven't taken $1 out of a Cagecoin. I don't think you can. So, but obviously.
No, it doesn't.
To Gronkowski, to everybody. Go ahead.
To answer your initial question, no, it doesn't scare me. I know why people get scared, but I think it becomes a question of responsibility. Like, whose responsibility is it? Is it Gary's or the investor? If this money is money you need to pay rent with, and you're throwing it at Gary, and then if this doesn't pan out, you blame him. I think you're the fool for putting in money that you don't have into a gamble.
I think it's foolish
blame
to
the brand.
Be willing to put $2,400 into anything, sight unseen. And I hope Gary listens to this. I hope anybody doing NFTs listens. No, you gotta be more honest.
You don't believe that.
People. I do.
You don't believe that. No, you don't. Because, dude, you had an amazing year. You had an amazing year last year.
It's true.
And then what did you decide to do? You're like, well, I'm going to gamble on Top Shot, January, whatever it was, 1st, 2nd, 3rd.
Yeah, but I knew what it was. I knew what I was
didn't.
Buying. Yeah, I did. I was buying video clips that I was hoping people would actually be into. Right now, you don't know what Gary is selling you. You don't know what it is. You have no idea what it is. No clue. No hints. And the hints are coffee pots and batteries. Like, if you're going to go out and give hints, give you people hints. Like, don't treat us like children. Especially children who you expect 20. And then when people are like, hey, can I get some for half an Ethereum? No, you need at least an Ethereum. So that means bottom line, lowest investor. It's not a $9 pack or a $3 TJ McConnell. It's you have to have $2,400 sight unseen to invest in me. And you know what? There are some people who are worthy of that investment. A lot of people will probably tell me I'm an idiot and that Gary is worthy of that blind following and that blind investment and that he's going to work tirelessly. But what's he supposed to say, bro? Seriously, what's he supposed to say? Is he supposed to come out and say, hey, by the way, get an Ethereum and put it in on 5.5 because I'm just going to take your money and run with it. And I don't give a shit what happens to my NFT afterwards because I'm going to cash out. He's not going to say that. Who would say that?
But his track record doesn't prove that. I think he's been,
of
all the influencers, the most reliable.
But reliable how? Because he's available to people? Because he's consistent with content? Reliable how? In delivering what? In arbitrage opportunities? Sure. In what to look for in milk mugs at garage sales? Sure. In what cards to look at so that, he has a following and people will be able to buy what he's telling them to buy? Sure. But what else? Like, what is his track record that tells you that I'm going to invest $2,400 into some mysterious unknown item?
Well, there's two ways in life to really win. Through investment, there's more than two, but I'm going to talk about investment and education. So sure, he gives out some investment advice, but I think Gary's true value is education. I think he's a brilliant marketer. And I think so colleges sell courses and MBA programs for hundreds of thousands a year. Other influencers like Gary also create firewalls and sell their content, where Gary has a 30-person team, Gary V, that's on his payroll that creates free content that teaches you how to market.
Yep.
So there's the education that's free, that's valuable.
I get it. I just think there's a little bit more.
I would say the show was created from the learnings I had when working on Team Gary V.
Well, so that's you. So here, let me take it down to another level. And maybe this is an old man thinking.
Why am I discredited though? Because I came to that organization as a sales guy and I left as a marketer. I didn't know a thing about marketing.
Oh, but you're not discredited. So maybe this is what your dad would say to you, right? Okay, hey, you have a cafe. You've talked about it, a family business, right? And you guys kick ass and made the best smoothies in all of Philadelphia. And, you basically, and you had a loyal following, right? You had a loyal following. You had people who came in every day to buy coffee. People who came in every day, you name it, a loyal following because you guys did what you needed to do for your customer base. You went above and beyond. You guys provided value for your customers. So why they kept coming back. If you hung a sign in the window and said, we have a special on 5/5, everybody pay us $25 for the breakfast special. Don't worry about it. It's going to be great. You're going to love it.
You're on mute, but that's a funny. You're on mute, but that's funny.
Tell me how many people ahead of time are going to drop $25 in your cash register weeks in advance, get them ready, and sign up for Apple Pay, which none of them have ever done before. Figure out a new way to pay for an item that you're not even telling them. And then when your most loyal customers contact you and ask you, hey Andrew, I've been buying a friggin' smoothie from you for the last 10 years. Can you tell me what it is? You hold up the coffee pitcher and say, don't worry, I'm going to bleed for this. No, I mean, come on. I'm not a child. You might be better than that.
This is funny. The reason that we're having this discourse here, LukaNation, is why I think that we are the best podcast out there, because not only do we give you guys plays, we want to have this dialogue and have two opposing views with respect towards each other, which I think the world needs a bit more of. We could disagree and still listen to each other's points. It's beautiful. But this is all stemmed from our groups asking us questions, right?
Yep.
And that's been today's the 26th. This is airing Monday on the 26th. So we still have over a week to go. And that's how many questions we've gotten this weekend on our LukaNation groups that we felt obliged to come on here and have this discussion. I'm sure we'll have more discussions. Cage,
I'm hoping it comes out in the next week and says something. Hey, by the way, here's what it's going to be. And by the way, I can't give it away because I want it to be a drop. But know this, just like I did with my Tops release, there's going to be real utility in this. There's going to be ways for people to blah blah meet me. There's going to be Zoom calls. There's going to be blah blah blah. There's going to be all these things in there, and you don't want to miss it. Now, I guess his loyal followers just know him well enough to know that that's what they should assume it's going to be, right?
Well, what if that happens? It just hasn't happened, and that's part of his rollout plan, right? So, let's say hypothetically, he put it all out there and let all you guys know what exactly these NFTs were. Is it possible that it would get lost in the sauce, given that we're still 2 weeks away, and he's going to start trickling out information as we get closer?
Maybe, but here's the problem with that, right?
Please.
You know crypto better than most people do. So tell me, someone who has bought a K-Swiss Gary sneaker, and it was too small. The largest size they made was 14s, and it just hurts my toes. So, but in any event, right?
You wear larger. You have bigger feet than 14.
Yeah, I'm a size 15, brother. So, but here's the fun, right? So you have many layers to this. You have a lot of layers to this. You have people can't just pay. I just can't sign on 5/5 with my credit card and pay, right? So I don't know what the hell a MetaMask is. And I know he's going out there and he's telling people, hey, here, people have questions. Make sure you have a wallet set up. Make sure it would be smart for you to have one Ethereum in a wallet. Well, you know what? Maybe you put the cart before the horse. And you're right. I mean, maybe it gets lost in the sauce, but the flip side is maybe someone like me is not going to go and set up a MetaMask, if I'm saying that right,
You're saying it perfectly.
So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put it in an Ethereum. I've never had an Ethereum in my life. I don't know what the hell that is, So I'm going to go do research, put $2,400 in an Ethereum in a MetaMask for what I don't know. Maybe you have to. Maybe you have to show your hand a little bit, or maybe he doesn't care. Maybe he knows he's got enough people who will follow him blind. He doesn't need an old man like me to put $2,400 into it. He doesn't have to tell me. He doesn't have to show his hand. I get it.
Well, the reason why you have to do this in advance is because when you buy on any exchange, you don't get immediate access to the Ethereum. Sure, you're invested, but it has to clear the bank.
That's the point, right?
And even on a card, it takes like a day to clear because there's a million reasons I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah,
So
but
the reason
that's
you have to do it in advance.
Like, shouldn't he be telling you something now? Like, hey, the lead up, the roll up.
Here's the second thing. Other than fees, which I don't want to get into, you're not losing money by converting USD to Ethereum. You're just converting. Sure, there's some risk of exposure and Ethereum could go down in price. But even if you move your Ethereum to MetaMask, you still have access to it.
Right.
So it's,
but these people, you could tell from his comments, they're only looking to do this because they want to get in on his thing. Right. So you're right. But I mean, the point is, if it's me, right, and you want somebody to invest that kind of money in you, tell them something. Batteries.
Can't get off the bat. So this is perfect. I wanted to cap this at a 20-minute discussion. LukaNation. So a few asks of you guys. We've launched our new YouTube channel. So if you guys get a chance, please hit that subscribe button. We're going to be putting out more and more content for you guys. Also, let us know in the comment. This is going to go on YouTube. This is going to be, we're going to make a post of this on our Instagram. What topics or what questions do you have for us about the Gary V NFT? And we'll do our best to answer them or address them or even have some discourse about them because I know a lot of you have questions. I'm personally going to at least try to invest in it. I'm going to be prepared to invest in it. And if you guys have questions for us, please let us know. We'll have that discussion in the next week as it gets closer. Tatis, Dodgers. That was an awesome game, man. Dodgers went up 7-1. The next inning, 2 runs. Inning after that, 2 runs for the Padres. 2 runs after that, they tie it up and they win in extras. That was exciting. Did you stay up to watch that game?
Yeah, I watched it all. I mean, it's nice to see the kid have 5 home runs in 3 games. He's still only batting .246. He gets eaten up by ground balls. One of them, I think, was a hit. He definitely got an error in there also. I think he's got as many errors as home runs, in that same time period too, which is never a good thing. He also stole a base, during the game. The guy seems to always be on base. He's walked, he's setting a table for the guys in front of him. For the guys behind him. He had 4 runs in the game last night, including the game winner on a sac fly. So,
he's a gamer. Yeah, he's a gamer. He shows up where that team needs him.
He looks different. He also, yes, and he doesn't back down, and he lights a fire on it. The team was kind of like floundering there, in the lead up to the series, and he came back healthy. And, it's funny. Who was it? A-Rod, who I don't love on the Sunday night stuff, but he drew a really good comparison during the game to the 2004 Red Sox. And I think those guys were called like the idiots, and he called these guys like the locos, and that they had that Manny, Poppy, middle power, like they would have Tatis and Machado, and they got Hosmer in there, and some young kids, and that they just have fun playing the game. You saw what he did when he took Bauer deep both times. He did the cover the one eye, and then he did like the little Conor McGregor, Vince McMahon. I'm not giving Conor credit for that. Conor didn't invent that. The Vince McMahon strut pass home plate, which Bauer did, exactly, that little strut. And, that fires the team up, it just does. It gets a little energy going. It gets, makes the game fun, and forget about the Padres who are, they're playing great ball. I don't care what you do in life, whether it's a podcast with a whole production team behind you, whether it's, you got to deal with people like Andrew every day, you got to be having fun or else you're going to quit. Right, so this is the same thing with the Padres, man. You're losing, you're not playing with Tatis on the team. You need somebody there to insert a little bit of fun, and he does.
Single-handedly, when Cage gives us a cageism, blows my mind. I need more. I need more Cage wisdom.
Yeah, fun. Here's another little bit of Cage wisdom. The balance of power in the majors shifted exactly when Mookie left. that was a seismic shift. It wasn't because of him, but it just timed up perfectly. The American League East is no longer the powerhouse the National League West is now. And those two teams that are sitting on top of it, they got to watch out. San Francisco Giants are going to be one hell of a team also. They're already playing great ball.
And it's an odd year, right?
Well, they are even year, so wait till next year, though. But the fun thing is they have a great young base, and a lot of bad money is coming off of their payroll next year. They're going to have like a payroll like committed to next year, like $35 million. So if they could go out there and be big spenders in the offseason and make some noise, you're going to have three legit teams in that one division. It's going to be fun to watch.
Oliver, I know your city's kind of turning into a shithole, but that's a beautiful park to play out of. Have you been to the, what is it, AT&T Park? Is that right? Right there on the bay?
In San Francisco, I've been there, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really nice. It's very nice.
It's one of my favorite parks.
And it's cool. It's like boats right there. Like boats just pull right up to the stadium. It's pretty cool. They get good food. It's nice to watch a game in there. Really clean. But
that's a cool. It's a cool tradition. I think wish more people did, or like kind of blog maybe about it, or create content about it. Like go and visit every park in the country.
Yeah, I think a British guy came over. The Brit in baseball. The Brit did baseball. It's like he did a blog and then wrote a book about it. A guy came over and I think ESPN caught up with him about halfway through and we're doing that. I mean, obviously things like that got interrupted with COVID. But yeah, it's a cool thing. I try to if I go away for business, I try to catch a game. I'm trying to go see something. Padres game against the Dodgers, I actually saw 2 years back, which was fun. But yeah, no, Padres look good, man. They're a real deal. And Tatis he looks like the face of the game. And ESPN, they broadcast a little thing last night where they had people on the stars of the game, like Trout. They said, who's the face of baseball? And Trout's like, it's Tatis. He's fun. He's doing different things out there, and he just looks different doing it. So that's cool.
NBA. The Nets are just a fascinating team. I don't know if you got the chance to watch them. They played the Suns yesterday, and this was a statement game for me because here's KD. They've played 7 games together, Harden, Kyrie, and KD. And I thought the Suns would put a hurting on them. The Suns are a deep team, 8, 9, 10 people. Here's KD coming off an injury. It looked like varsity versus JV. It was that good. Did you watch the game?
The Suns are pretenders. The Suns are not that good. The West.
The Suns are a good team.
The West have a lot of teams that have good records that are just not going to be good playoff teams. I watched the game, and I saw Durant come on the bench. Kyrie just plays on another level. What I'll say about the Nets, though, is I think they're actually worse if they get all 3 of them. I think it's actually going to be like, subtraction by addition, So I think they actually be better off. I mean, it's very odd to say because obviously, but they play well when there's only 2 of them. They don't play great when all 3 of them are there because it's weird. They don't, and they're not going to have chemistry, going into the playoffs. But listen, that said, with all that stupidity there, if you ask me who to bet on to win the finals right now, I think I go with the Nets. I do, just because they just look better than everybody. They really do, even with only 2/3.
So basketball is that type of game where every sport needs chemistry, but like you see this, like Kevin Durant had a hamstring injury, comes back from an Achilles, and then he had a quad contusion. This was all in like the last few months.
Yep,
comes back, crossover cross, gets to the middle of the lane, pull up. Next play, crossover cross, gets to the baseline off the backboard in. Next play, crossover cross, spot up 3. Unbelievable. His offensive game is just unbelievable. What I was watching yesterday, and then you have Kyrie, who's short, and then he could get it in the post. I'm fascinated by this team. Every time I want to write them off, I see a game like yesterday, and I'm like, these guys are unreal. These guys are just on another level. You don't want to talk about the Nets. They're disappointing.
I don't like the Nets. I don't like the Nets just because, to me, it's a lot of one-on-one basketball. It's a lot of just isolation. It's a lot of, okay, KD's going to do it, okay, Kyrie's going to do it. And, and it is proof that if you put enough good people on one team, they will be good. It remains to be seen if they'll be good in the playoffs. I did watch the Bucks yesterday, and I did watch anytime Giannis got in the paint, he was just dominant. So that is the fun part of it. They can't do it every time, but I would love to see who plays defense on him. I also watched a great game that I'll take back. Forget about the game itself. It's anybody can beat anybody in this league, right? What's fun about the playoffs, at least you get a series. But, watching Brad Stevens do a little bit of an interview about how bad his team looked against the Hornets, it was complimenting the Hornets, saying that they played a great game against us, a great style, just very fast. Like, we couldn't keep up with them, basically, was what he was saying. Like, we just didn't have the horses. They just played at a pace that was, crazy. Scored 120-something points, and it just shows you there's parity, especially in the East. You got people talking like the Knicks could actually win the East. Come on. Knicks are not that good. They got a couple good players, and they've been playing decent team ball. Other stories in the NBA, if the Knicks hadn't won 9 games in a row, everybody would be talking about the Wizards playing themselves into playoff contention now, where they won 7 games in a row with your boy, Bradley Beal, right? Your favorite guy.
Do you remember in the beginning of the NBA season, we did like an NBA season episode, NBA preview episode. I said my Wizards, I don't know why I call them my Wizards, they're going to be in the playoffs. I had to bite my tongue for like the first half of the year because they were abysmal. Now, that team is not very good. It's 2 guys and then nobody else. But I love to see how Bradley Beal and Russ Westbrook are leading the charge there. My issue is they're going to run out of gas. You can't run and win in this league with 2 guys. And who's their third best player? Burton's?
I don't even know. I honestly have no idea who their third best player is. I mean, is Thomas Bryant still on the team?
Thomas Bryant's injured towards ACL.
Well, he's probably not their third best player then. No, I mean, I can't even tell you. That's the Westbrook and Beal show, clearly. Rui?
Rui's one of the most garbage rookies I've seen in a long time, unfortunately. I guess he's in his sophomore year, huh? He still looks like a rookie. Let's talk about the Bucks real quick. So the Bucks are going nowhere fast. And here's the issue with the Bucks. Here's what I want you, LukaNation, to do, and then I'll get into my play, because actually Cage mentioned the team a second ago of the player who I'm going to give you guys. It's going to be fun. Cage is really going to like the play. It's going to be engaging. I'm going to actually ask him which card he thinks we should buy of this player. But do me a favor. Go to YouTube and type in Warriors ball movement or Warriors passing. And then do the same thing and watch the Milwaukee Bucks play. Here's their issue. And we've talked about this for years. Coach Bud runs the most basic offense where they have basically one play, and that's a dribble handoff. Giannis dribbles up the court, grabs the rebound, dribbles up the court, sets like a screen, and does like a handoff to Chris Middleton coming around, and he shoots. Same thing with Drew Holiday. They're the most predictable offense. This is why they are easily defended against in the playoffs when you have 1 or 2 plays. All you have to do is stop Giannis from getting into the paint. Game over. So I'm selling the Bucks. I don't see it. Nothing's changed. They haven't improved their offense. They haven't solved any of the issues that they've had. They're just hoping that, what didn't work in the previous years somehow works this year. And the reality is just it's not going to happen.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see. I mean, not a lot of people besides you are picking Miami to go, as far as they did in the playoffs last year. So I just think that it might be a little surprise dark horse team. Maybe it's the Knicks, who knows, coming out of the East and the West. I'll tell you, if nothing else, I think it's going to be some fun. It's going to be fun, coming out of the West, coming out of the East. I mean, the Lakers, if LeBron doesn't come back, they might be in that play-in group. I mean, there's some fun stuff going on over there. So we'll see. That play-in will be fun.
Do you still believe Anthony Davis is the best player on that team?
Well, he just came back, so give it a shot. Let's see what happens. But yes, I do still believe Anthony Davis is the best player on that team.
He has been poo-poo.
He's been back for 2 games.
Back.
In 2 games.
Kevin Durant came back 1 game and just destroyed the Suns, who are the best team in the West.
Yeah, the last time Kevin Durant came back off of a long injury, he re-injured himself. So it is what it is. Remember that. So...
So AD comes back, but he's healthy, but he can't play. KD comes back.
Is he healthy?
Amazing.
Is he healthy? Are we ever going to know people are really healthy? Come on. And
where's your energy today? Are you still sleeping? You didn't have your soda today.
So I just shit on Gary Vee for the first 20 minutes of the episode and made you look silly about following him, and I have no energy? Okay. Go get your $2,400 and buy a stupid green glove. How about that with your energy? Go buy a coffee cup. Go buy a battery. Have fun. Put your MetaMask on and follow off a cliff. Here's your energy. No, dude, basketball, I don't have anything to add to basketball because, it is so wide open. It is so wide open in basketball right now. When we're talking about teams like the Wizard, so as potentially like making noise in the playoffs, or at least making the playoffs, that's silly. And part of it is the parity in the leagues. Part of it is the fact that they expanded it with the playoff, that you're going to have 20 teams that consider themselves playoff teams this year. Because with that play-in, it's the top 10 in either conference. So think about how bad you have to be in the bottom 10, basically, to not make the playoffs. So making
see a little March Madness type of action.
It's got sort of that, a little bit of that feel, sure. I mean, it is what it is. But basketball, look, it's going to heat up. It's definitely going to heat up. Where's my energy? I wish, Top Shot would let me take some money out. That would be nice. Let's see what else some energy. I wish the Top Shot prices would stop going down. We're not allowed to talk about Top Shot. Otherwise, people get very mad at us. We get angry.
I think we've cooled it on Top Shot. I think we're actually doing them a disservice. I was going to bring Jacob back. I missed that guy.
Yeah, I mean, no, people get very angry. People get very angry. We talk about Top Shot. We've had some pretty good guests recently, so that's nice. No, man, now I'm curious to see what your play was. When you talk about, we mentioned the team. What's your play? Are we back on Bradley Beal?
No, we're not back on Bradley Beal. Before I get into my play, one question.
Yeah, go.
This Atlanta Hawks team, I love Nate McMillan as a coach, first off. Guys, just, a slight golf clap for this guy. He comes in halfway through the season, completely changes that team around. They're in 5th place. How do I word this question? This Hawks team has a lot of success even when Trey doesn't play. Now, if Trey comes back and plays near or close to as good as he's ever played, this Hawks team is going to be really interesting. What if he doesn't come back? And I think he has a real potential here because, dude, this team just beat a healthy Bucks team. This Hawks team has some quality wins in the recent weeks, especially with Trey on the bench. Have you noticed that?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you can't say the Bucks are terrible and then say it's a quality win to beat them. But
no, I didn't say the Bucks are terrible. I said the Bucks have a really predictable offense, which stops them from getting over. So the Bucks are always going to beat teams like the Hornets, the Pacers, the Wizards, the Bulls, the Raptors, the Celtics. Like if they match up with those teams in a 7-game series, no question. But I don't think the Bucks want to be, second round and done. I think they want to get to the finals. And with their limited offense, I don't see that happening. How about this? I'll go right into my play. There's a guy on the Hornets who's 23 years old, who's averaging 50% from the field, 40% from three, and 85% free throw. And this guy, if you were to ask a general fan, would actually say that this guy is more of a high flyer and a dunker than a player. I think this guy's future is incredibly, incredibly bright. Who do you think I'm talking about?
Miles Bridges.
Miles Bridges. Now, when I said that age, you guys might think this guy's crazy. This guy's been in the league for what feels like 4 or 5 years. 23 years old. A very young guy. Built, athletic, strong, great kind of small forward. How's his defense, Cage? Pretty good defender, right?
So he is a game changer. I mean, the Boston Celtics kind of hung around to end the third quarter in yesterday's game. It would have cut it to a manageable lead at the end of the third quarter. He is on the receiving end of a steal. The ball's getting batted around and throws up what I think is like a 52-foot 3-pointer to end the third quarter. Like one of these almost half-court shots and sinks it. Later on in the fourth quarter, you can tell Boston, they're just waiting to try to make a run. They'll have to put some stops in, and they have one of those where they're on the run, and they have numbers, and Miles is following the play, he's trailing the play, and comes up with a huge block that starts a run back in the other direction, and Terry Rozier hits a 3. It's just a huge 5-point swing. He plays good defense. He plays with great energy. He's always smiling. He gets the fans riled up. He gets like the rest of the team riled up. I mean, you see LaMelo, over there, on the bench laughing every single time Miles does something. And, the team will only get better when LaMelo comes back in the next couple of days. But, they on I think it was 46 scores yesterday. They scored 46 possessions scoring. They had 40 assists. So Devontae had 24 and 9. Rozier had like 21 and 10 or 11. Somebody else had like 8 or 9 assists. Like they had 40 assists as a team yesterday. They passed the ball around really well. They really, playing quick offense. But Bridges, man, forget about the dunks. Dunks are crazy. Go back and take a look at that block. Because it wasn't just a block. It was a block like from behind, off the glass, kept the ball in play, and turned it into like a, like a break for them. Those are the kind of plays that they don't really fill the stat sheet. You don't really see them too much. But, they're huge team plays.
You know who he reminds me of? I won't say reminds me of. I'll compare him. Bam Adebayo is who I'd compare Miles Bridges to. He's a guy you could build around because he's going to impact the game on all aspects. I love guys like this because, for example, let's say your shot's not falling. And guys, let me just really quickly, it's not like he's shooting, half a three-pointer a game. This guy's shooting, let me take a look here, 4 attempts from three-point range. He makes 1.7. He's shooting 40% from three. This is a guy who's a power forward. Okay, he's not even starting games yet, Cage. He's coming off the bench. 28 minutes per game.
Yep.
He's able to impact the game in so many different ways, right? His three-pointer is not falling. He could go and get offensive rebounds and do putbacks, get some buckets that way. Get to the free throw line. You can impact it on the defensive end. I love guys like that. If in baseball, they call 5-tool players, I would say Miles Bridges is a 5-tool player. And the kid's 23. I've always liked him since Michigan State. He's coming into his own, and I personally think Devontae Graham's going to be gone after this season. That's just my own opinion. I'm really excited to build around the team with LaMelo and Miles, Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier. Who knows where they're going to be, but I would invest in Miles Bridges. Now the question becomes, how do you do it? You go on the internet, you go to PSA, and you see that there's only, a few hundred PSA 10s graded of his base card, the base Prism from 2018. But the reason behind that isn't because there's no cards out there. It's just he wasn't worth grading, right? How do you invest in players like this knowing that PSA has a huge backlog of cards? They're going to be probably coming back. People are going to be submitting them more. How do you invest? Do you go for, a numbered parallel? Do you go for a silver?
Are you asking?
Yep. I know I've been doing most of the talking this episode, and I'm going to get a lot of hate mail. Back to your regularly scheduled programming tomorrow, LukaNation or Cage.
No, dude, I like it. I mean, listen, obviously you've put some thought into this. And by the way, you made fun of Cage Coin, but if you check out, I told people to buy Miles Bridges on Cage, on BitCloud.
Did you?
Yeah, that was one of my plays on just a special Cage Coin holder. If you're on there. So what I would do for Miles
Let's be clear, I
cards,
never made fun of Cage Coin. I'm the biggest supporter of Cage Coin, and I would actually argue I'm the founding financier of Cage Coin.
So if I were trying to buy Miles Bridges cards right now, you can buy up to 287 of the Star Stock A's on Star Stock for as low as $9.45 currently. If you want to do Star Stock B, they're cheaper than $3 a card for his Prism base rookie card. That's where I would be looking.
I love it. So you wouldn't go graded right now. You would you'll be getting the raw cards cheap.
Yeah, because the grading of them, the cards are, they're already, because there aren't that many of them, they're up, So if you look on eBay, the PSA 10 bases are like $150, $160.
Right.
But if you could buy the A's, which have a shot at getting you a 10, you could buy 10 of them for $100. You buy 15 of them for the same price it costs you to get, one graded one. You wait, PSA comes back up, you send a bunch of those in, and whatever bulk value level it's going to be, if you're really buying him for a long-term play, why not? Then you're getting his cards, for $20, $25, $30. Hopefully a few of them come back as 10s, and you're doing good.
This is one of my favorite all-time episodes, mostly because I'm doing most of the talking, and I really enjoy that, so that's one of the reasons. But the discourse, the back and forth, is what I think is the true value of what we do here, because for example, Cage and I don't have these discussions in the morning. You get a very candid one-on-one discussion about Gary's NFTs, about baseball, and where the power struggle shifted. We talked about NBA and we had that discourse. Now we're talking about Miles Bridges as a play. We didn't talk about that before this. So the way that Cage thinks through it, and at the same time, we go and we research the pop. So there's only 132 PSA 10s of the base Miles Bridges card from 2018 Prism. 250 total graded. So we're looking, and I also did that research. I was like, $150 for his Prism PSA 10? That's pricey. I don't know if I feel comfortable investing in that. And then we had this discourse, and we realized, you could go to StarStock, get an A for $9. I could buy these. I could buy 15 StarStock A's, have potential for a PSA 10. The PSA 10 shouldn't be that expensive because not a lot are graded. And this discourse, I think, is super helpful. So I'll turn it over to you. But up to this point, my favorite episode so far.
Did you kidnap a baby? Did you?
I did. We went out last night. It's kind of like a hangover. We're celebrating
Carlos.
Friend getting married, yes, and
baby Carlos. I like
with him. We don't know. We kind of parked them by the pool. Hopefully,
he's breastfeeding. Wonderful. So, guys, listen. I think we gave this play. I think we might have both given this play in the last couple of weeks. But I'm ready to quadruple down on it and not really care. I'm going to start buying these myself, even if you don't. I looked online on eBay today, and you can definitely get them in other places as well. But
are you buying coffee pitchers so that Gary has to pay a premium?
I'm buying Duracell batteries, the copper top. This is what I'm buying. No, did you see? We started to talk about who could potentially make a little bit of a run in the playoffs and who can get into the playoffs. Jaren Jackson Jr. came back and nobody said a thing. Nobody said anything, and he is so. But you know what? In addition to him coming back, he makes Ja Morant a completely different player. Right? Have you seen Ja? You see Ja playing 28-8 the other day? He there's something he said. Some guys, you're like, oh, they have to be their own guy. Like Trey, people moved away from Trey because when his team was built around him, he just didn't look as good. You know what I mean? And some guys, their value is in if there's nothing else there, they go crazy. You know what I mean? They can score points, they can do their stuff. My boy Devontae kind of fell into that picture also. I mean, last year they had nobody, they had nothing doing, so he was their option, and he went and took advantage of it. This year they put some weapons on that team, and some of the other guys have made some leaps, like Miles Bridges, you'll play, and Devontae's kind of faded because they don't need him. Some people go out and they grab it. Still, the other side of it is there are guys who need that B player. I mean, watch The Last Dance, guys. My favorite player of all time. He'll remind you every time he can that he never won a championship without Scottie Pippen there. Scottie Pippen, he said there's nobody there.
Is Scottie Pippen your favorite player of all time?
No, Jordan. I'm talking about Jordan saying that he never won a championship without Pippen, right? So he was trying to give Pippen his due, right? And say, you kind of have to need that Robin, right? If you're Batman, this is kind of what he said. So, it looks to me like Ja Morant needs somebody playing off of him, taking some of the defense away from him, keeping people honest as well, which is not a bad thing. This is a 5-on-5 sport, right? You can't do it all yourself. He even looks to be more of a high flyer again. Maybe he's getting his feet back under him, you name it, but he's filling up the stat sheet, he's scoring, the team's winning, and they're on the cusp of making that little playoff, we said it's not that, but we were talking a week ago about how it looks like Trey might be the one playing some, meaningful games the latest. It's still probably true. It's still going to be, possibly true. But now I'm actually looking at Ja Morant, and here's what's fun. If you go on eBay right now, 310, 319, 329, or best offer for all these, which to me means you can get Ja for under $300. You can get Ja $275 for Prism. So I love Miles Bridges. I think he's a fantastic player, but he does not have the ceiling, I think, of a Ja Morant. Ja Morant, who could potentially be one of those real good players over time. I mean, Miles is great and all, but if we're talking about spending $150, now I know you didn't. You said there's ways to do this because $150 is misleading because of the population. But if Miles Bridges $150, and you can get Ja, and you're starting to talk about Ja $275, $280, $285 for that Prism rookie. Gotta get those.
Oversold.
It's we are in oversold territory to the nth degree, and that's one of those things where I'm sorry, Gary V, but I'm gonna take my green glove off. I'm gonna wipe my ass with it, and I'm gonna go buy 10 Ja Morants instead. So I'm not gonna
put your money where your mouth is. I want an eBay bought or an eBay sold, whatever they're called, screenshot in the groups today. If we don't see it, didn't happen.
Yeah, well, I'm not doing it today because I want our people listen. So I will buy these. But since the beginning, I give everybody like a 72-hour grace period on this stuff. I don't want to be buying it and raising the price on LukaNation. And the best thing would be, look, I'm looking at them right now on eBay. 310, 319, 324, OBO, right? I don't want to make offers on those 275, 285, and I'm the only one who gets the advantage of the three of these that are going to be bought for under $300. Let somebody who's listening to this first go out there and make that offer and get it. So, but I'm definitely buying Ja.
This guy's the Robin Hood of the card hobby.
It's not that, but I don't want to. I'm not giving a play so that I'm making money on it. I mean, obviously we ride along. We want to tell you, I'm making these plays because I believe in them, and I will be buying them. But I definitely don't want to be buying ahead. People are not going to hear this episode for another 8 hours. If I go and spend the next 8 hours buying the cards, that's not fair. So.
I'm really glad you brought up Jared Jackson Jr. because no one has said a peep about him, and it's. I mean, I've talked about it on Scouts. Even think about the way he came back to play. With Anthony Davis, they're like, he's going to be back in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. With Harden, Durant, they're always letting you know how far out they are. One day with Jared Jackson Jr., he's like, he's back.
Yeah, he's back. He's just back. That's it. He's playing.
The guy didn't play for literally 8 months on a meniscus, and he's just back. Yep. Fascinating. I think the kid is a game changer. I'm surprised you went Ja Morant instead of Jared Jackson Jr. I see the logic, and it's actually smart because it has more upside. Dude, Jared Jackson Jr. changes the game. Not only, he's he had the best 3-point percentage for a big man when he was playing last year. He's incredible shooting three. He's a rim stopper. He averages a few blocks. I think he has like 5 blocks in the 2 games since he's been back. I love the play. I agree. Jared Jackson changed the game for Morant.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind somebody buying Jared Jackson Jr. either, but I just think Ja has more upside when he's playing with Jared Jackson Jr. So I wouldn't mind going out there and buying some Triple J cards too. Go ahead.
So this is maybe a bit of how poor the Trailblazers are in bad shape right now. The Trailblazers are struggling, but I don't know if you remember, during the bubble, the Trailblazers knocked out the Grizzlies, and it was a close game. And this weekend, the Grizzlies got revenge. This was the first time the Grizzlies played the Trailblazers since they got knocked out in the bubble last year, and they won both games. First one was a little closer. Last night was a blowout.
I do dropped a few games in a row. I watched them because I like Carmelo. They've dropped like 3, 4, 5 games in a row.
They're in bad shape. They can't cover anybody. They can't stop you from getting to the rim. Dame and CJ. I have this theory. I have a lot of topics today, if you can tell. So, and this is no knock on CJ McCollum, but I have a theory that after you get married, the year after, you have a down year.
Women weaken knees.
It's a theory.
Know what that's from?
No, tell me.
Mickey tells Rocky that.
Women weaken knees.
Yeah, or weaken legs. But yeah, that's what he tells them. Night before the fight. Stay off. Hands off.
CJ got married last year, and when you get married, you entertain, and then you go on your honeymoon, you have family. He looks a little heavier. He looks a little more out of shape. And this Trailblazers team cannot cover anybody. They can't guard you on the perimeter. They can't guard you at the rim. That being said, I would love to see the Grizzlies take the next step. I like that team. I liked that team last year. I liked them in the middle of the season. I lost a little bit of faith, but now my faith is now regained.
Women weaken legs. See, but I changed it to the knees. It's Mickey. Yeah, Rocky won. I looked it up.
It's just a theory.
Sure it was the legs and knees.
But after a player gets married, expect them to have a down year. That's my theory.
I like watching Trailblazers. I like watching Dame, but Dame he's like Dame should go play with the Nets because they need another one-on-one player and they add to the team over there. That's what it reminds me of, right? And McCollum's a good player also, but it just any night I know one of them is going to lead the team, and then the rest of the team like Melo doesn't get enough minutes. He can only like 18 minutes, and he comes in and he shoots. He scores 12 points. By the way, guys, don't look now, but he's like 80 points or something out of number 10. So we'll get that down the stretch here for all time. But like Robert Covington, that's an intangible guy. I like him, but like I think he had 2 points in like 30 minutes. Like you got to score, especially when you're playing a team like the Grizzlies. You can put points up.
He can't score though. He needs someone to get him shots, and none of those guys are going to get you open shots. That's what makes Curry so special. Curry not only like people look at Curry and they're like he's leading the league in scoring. But that's part of what he does. He gets Andrew Wiggins and Kelly Oubre wide open shots. Whereas Dame and CJ and Melo, they don't get anyone open looks. They could get their 12 points, but they're not going to help you get your 12 too.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, what Curry's doing, has he put himself into the MVP discussion? Can Curry win the MVP over Jokic?
I've learned as I get older in life, it's important to have definitions, right? Because oftentimes arguments aren't because we disagree; it's we have a different definition for a word. I don't know how you define MVP. It depends on how you define it. Can you have a MVP on a losing team? They're 10th in the West or 9th in the West.
I mean,
But if you really define the word most valuable player, where would this Warriors team be without Curry? The worst team in the West?
Right. Like wins over replacement value kind of thing, right? That's what they do, right? So
how would they score over 100 points without Curry? Like where would they literally score? Who would Draymond Green would average 20 points a game?
Listen, there's a lot of fun here. There's a lot of fun to unwrap. And you know what? The point is baseball's got some fun going on. Basketball's got some fun. Gary V's, selling something that we don't know what it is. You got lots of cool stuff going on in the old hobby right now, guys. Lots of fun stuff going on in the hobby, which is great. I love it. This is a good episode. This is fun. Get to back and forth a little. I put you on your heels. You defended your mentor very well, which is nice. It was good to see. But
when we first started the show, maybe not first, like a few months in, what did I say to you about mentorship?
There were so many things you said that I forgot already. So I don't know what you could potentially be talking about. 400 different things. When we first started the show, what did you say to me? I don't know. I could take this in so many horrible, horrible ways. But I'm not going to. Tell me. Just don't make me guess.
So our story has a Cage Thanos picture. People could vote if it's fire or not. And then people have asked, is this part of the NFT art that goes with Cage coins? Don't forget, you'll need one Cage coin. I promise this will be the best long-term investment. And everyone's laughing at that joke. GTS7.High said that. And then someone responded, actually, you will need the equivalent of 2,500 worth of Cage coins.
That's it, 2,400. One Ethereum. One Ethereum. But, look, Thanos, I always was more of a Venom guy. I always like Venom. Because is Venom a bad guy, a good guy? I mean, you never really know. You just know.
We are Venom.
That's all you know. So you just know that he's Venom. That's it, man. It's not bad, right? I can't do Thanos.
That was impressive. Impressive.
Maybe I'll snap my fingers, maybe, or something like that. But,
it's cool. As I get to know Cage, you realize this guy is a man of many talents. And LukaNation, so it's an ask. If you guys stay with us, for the long run, I think we're going to be able to see all of Cage's talents and more. We're going to keep growing together.
Listen, stay tuned. We got some fun stuff. Before we go, I'm going to throw this one out there, right? Because we got a couple minutes left here. It's a Monday episode. I'm going to try to do this every Monday, guys. So listen, I don't know if there's anybody else out there like me going through all kinds of fun with this COVID nonsense, right? And by fun, I mean gaining like 75 pounds. You go back and take a look at some of my earlier videos, you name it. This is like if some people on the freshman 15, I put on the COVID 75. So here's my fun, right? So I think there's a lot of power in numbers, there's strength in numbers, and there's a lot of accountability in putting yourself out there and throwing it, right out there in the open. So on Mondays, I'm going to tell you guys what I weigh. Anybody who wants to join with me, go right ahead. I don't even care. There are other fat guys who are listening to us, and that's great. Fat Guys Unite. There are people who want to lose a little bit of weight. You name it. Maybe if we get enough people doing this, I'll give away some LeBrons. I'll give away some cards. I'll give away some some Top Shots or whatever it is. But even if nobody does it, I'm just going to tell you guys because you'll keep me accountable, right? You'll hold me accountable. Eventually, the world's going to open back up. I got young kids. I can't be just eating Chick-fil-A like a crazy man, every couple of days. So here you go. As of this morning, on the old scale, yours truly, Captain Cage, dude, put that baby away. I'm gonna eat that baby. It's the other baby. It's the other white meat. So
what's the difference between a baby and what's the difference between a baby and cutting onions?
I don't know. One makes you cry.
What's the difference between a baby and an onion? Nobody cries when you cut up a baby.
Oh my god!
You ever have those dead baby jokes in high school?
I never heard that joke, and you obviously butchered it. So, but here you go. Yours truly. Monday, what is today? Monday the 26th of April. Yours truly weighed in at 288.8 pounds. A whopping 288.8, right?
Zion!
So here I am. I got balls, right? Making fun of Zion, how he looks in a Prism card. 288.8. So I will give you every Monday. Andrew, don't let me get away with not doing it. Every Monday. And if it goes up, you guys got to give me, you got to be like, stay off the Chick-fil-A. How much Polynesian sauce did you put on that Chick-fil-A? Go right ahead and give it up. Anybody who wants to ride along with me, let's go. You want to publish it? Maybe I'll put a little post on my page. You put your comment in there, what you are, and we'll all get a little healthier later as the weather gets warmer ourselves. But 288.8 fat cage today. But hope that number's a little smaller. I'm going to do some exercise, a little walking around, that kind of stuff.
Reminds me of one of my favorite proverbs. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
So you're going to join? You're going to join? Yeah. Nice. Yes. We're going to get him in. We're going to get in the eat healthy, get in the old healthy eating stuff. It's time. It's time.
I think so. And guys, I don't think of this stuff as like as heavy or like a big deal as what other people do. Like, I just think of this as we're constantly trying to improve and evolve. And this is something that we've neglected for something else. And it's just a habit we're going to develop. I think of it very simply. I have full confidence and full belief that you're going to be able to do and reach the goal that you have.
I feel like for the people listening to this who aren't like, oh wow, this is ridiculous, or people, we become part of your lives here every day. It's like a daily podcast, right? I feel like I'm sharing this stuff with you. We got LukaNation out there. We think you guys like family, so you're gonna be along for the ride. And I'd love to hear what your target weight for me is, like 6'1" ish. And obviously
you're 6'1",
approximately. Yeah, just shy.
6'1", size 15 shoes.
Yes, I was supposed to be a lot taller. That's a story for another day, man. I'm the midget in my family. You're not supposed to say midget. I'm the runt in my family. I'm the runt of the litter. I stopped growing when I was very young from an injury. I get the growth plate. I got metal. So my younger brother's 6'7". My father was 6'5". So I'm the 6 foot, almost 6'1", short guy in the family.
Who's your favorite football player of all time?
Oh, it depends where you go with it. I'll start off by saying Wesley Walker of the New York Jets, but most people will not understand who that is. And the reason for that is he was blind in one eye. He was like legally blind and played wide receiver in the NFL. I always thought that was an amazing story. That somebody who obviously had that type of a disability was still able to play football at the highest level. So that's usually the answer that I go with, and it's not an answer everybody expects. But now you know the reason. So that was my favorite NFL player.
I love it. So he was 6'1" as well. That's what I was hoping would happen. His weight, 225.
All right. So that's there you go. We got a 63-pound goal. What, by next week? You gonna cut off my leg? Listen, dude, I can lose 3 pounds. I just got to cut my toenails. So in any event, it's a lot of fun, man. We're having some fun.
I'll weigh myself today, so we'll be fun.
LukaNation,
we love you guys.
LukaNation. Thanks, everybody.